What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. For those of you who haven't seen this or my face before, I typically watch 90 Day Fiancé videos, but you know what? I'm broadening my horizons. I'm just reacting to stuff, and here we go. I might be kind of late on this. I typically am, but I saw some discussion on Twitter, and I had to see this video. I already saw it, but let's watch it together. It's called "Mom Angry at Baby Dad for Bringing Food for His Kid Only Instead of All Four." Now, I am aware some people have already said this video is fake or whatever, but the discussion is very real. Here it goes.
Every day my baby daddy come here with one meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like that's both.
One thing about like maybe this being fake is the fact that like she explicitly says that they only have one together, right? Like one kid together, like she's clarifying that all 4 kids are not necessarily his. And also later on in the video, she says about like, oh, you know, I don't get my food stamps until I forget what date. But she said that a few times. So I feel like those are very key pieces of information to put in there to make sure that, you know, people have something to talk about, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe it is real, but those are like 2 pieces that I feel like if you were going to fake it and you wanted people to start talking, you would make sure you put that in there.
Hell, like you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all.
And like from what I've seen, people have been very divided on like, you know, he should be bringing food for everybody, and other people have been like, hey, you know, that's only he's a good dad. He's the one bringing food for his son. He's not responsible for all the other children, the 3 other children. And I kind of feel like, you know, I can kind of see both sides of it. I mean, I definitely don't think he has to bring food for all 4 children. You know, it would be nice, right? But like, I don't know. I feel like either way, it stinks no matter how you slice it, right? Because now he is being a good dad by bringing his kid some food. But at the same time, it's unfortunate that now, you know, when you're a kid, McDonald's, at least for me and for a lot of kids I knew, it was like, it's something special. It's something like fun. It's something really cool. And from her perspective, she's thinking like, dang, I have to give one of the kids McDonald's, you know, so he or she may be super excited about all that. And then the other kids are going to have some sort of resentment towards like, man, how come I don't get that? Or why is that? And I understand the other side is saying, well, it's not this dad's problem. And it's not. It just stinks. It just kind of stinks for other kids. Right? I'm not crazy here, right?
That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
Them
about?
my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So he finna, my other kids.
I guess I'm not really reacting to this as far as I'm just adding commentary to it. Like, you know, yeah, it would be really nice, right? It would be really nice if this dad could like buy food for the 4 children. But we don't know the situation, right? First of all, I feel like if he was with her, then he would bear a lot more responsibility in providing for those kids. I'm under the assumption, I think it's assumed that he is not with her, therefore he doesn't have that responsibility. And I don't know. It's 2 things, right? I think it's like it could be looked at like through a financial lens, right? Like if you have the means to provide for everybody, and you like it would be like nothing to you, but you don't do it out of pettiness, then that would be pretty like not cool, you know. But if he's just an average Joe, and you can't necessarily, it would be somewhat of a burden to provide for all the kids all the time, then like most people, that would be a lot more understandable, right? And I think that's why people are saying like, no, he doesn't owe any of those kids anything. Shit, I guess there's just a fine, like you could look at it that way too.
Left out.
You didn't feed him?
You know I don't get my food stamps to the 7th.
See, like that's one of the times she said, I don't get my food stamps until blank.
Lisa, is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help him. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa, you had
Them are his siblings though.
Yeah, they're his siblings, but from his perspective, he's saying, yeah, but they're not my kids. And also, like, later on in the video, he talks about, like, he could have the kid come eat in his car, so that way the other kids don't feel bad. And they're taking all this time arguing. Like I said, I don't know the situation. Maybe he's on his way somewhere, but, like, in that case, why not just take him out and then come back? I feel like that'd be a lot less, make the other kids feel a lot less bad, right? But I know that's not his responsibility, and he doesn't have to do this, and yada, yada, yada. I know.
He not finna eat
It just sucks for the kids.
all his other siblings.
It's not his fault. I know. See, that's the thing. That's why there's so much back and forth about this.
They're not eating no McDonald's. No. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him eat.
No.
See, there it goes. Yeah, bring him to the car. I'll let him eat.
If you can't bring enough for everybody.
Lisa, so you telling me that I can't bring my son food? I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound f***ing dumb.
How is that dumb? You
That's
sound
my-
dumb.
I
You
have-
sound dumb.
Where are they daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them
See, and I feel like that's the main take that most people, I think, are going to have is like, he's got his kid. He's providing for his kid. If the other kids have dads, where are theirs to provide for them? And I think people are going to say that. That's the blanket statement. That's, I think, like the default take. But if I know everybody's dunking on this woman and stuff, but if you were to look at it from her perspective, right, it just, whether it's right or wrong, it just sucks. Like, it would, and honestly, I feel like there'd be resentment either way, right? Like, let's say this dad brings his own kid food every single day, and the other kids always have resentment. Like, man, how come I never get the McDonald's or whatever? How come I never get this food or that food or whatever? Those kids are going to resent that one kid. And I was even thinking, if she really feels that way, if she feels bad for the other kids, she could just split it up. Yeah, it's not ideal, but let's say, like I said, I don't know how tight the finances are or whatever, but let's say you have a typical, like just rice and beans, like just your basic food, and then everybody have their own slice of whatever. Let's say it's a sandwich and they cut it and spread the fries around, and that way all the kids feel like they ate something. And yeah, maybe you want to disagree with that. I know people are probably be mad and be like, hey, he bought that for his kid. He didn't buy that for the other 3 kids. Yeah, that's true. But I just feel like, from her perspective, she could avoid all this arguing and all this if she just did that, right? But even then, there might be some resentment because the kid that it was purchased for might know that it was his or her dad who purchased it, and now he's like, man, now I have to share all my food with my siblings. But who knows? Maybe he might not even feel like that. Maybe he does love and care about his or her siblings, and like that's totally cool. So I don't know. I just feel like all this arguing and stuff could have been avoided.
Your responsibility, not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all. How do that shit look that I'm letting one child?
Also, I have another thing. I don't know who blurred his face here, but I feel like just a regular mom or regular dad wouldn't have the ability to blur people's faces like that. So maybe it's kind of like leaning towards being fake or staged, I guess you could say.
McDonald's and all the rest of the
It doesn't really matter whether it's staged or not because it's just for talk, right?
Can't eat
Just
no
to get
fucking
the people
McDonald's.
riled
You
up
know I
and
get food
talking.
stamps on the 11th.
That ain't 3 kids that ain't mine. 3 kids that ain't mine. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
It's the same. It's more of the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, 3 kids
You
are
knew
not
what you
mine.
were
One
getting
is mine.
into.
I'm
You
providing
had
for
a baby with
mine.
me.
No, the fuck I did.
Yes, you did.
You expect me to take care of all the kids? They not my kids.
Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids.
Why are you recording it, first of
Because I'm exposing. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy.
I am a good daddy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit in this bullshit. You only come here with one fucking piece of food for one child.
The child that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't
I
feed
just like the use of the word silly in a heated moment.
nobody at all. Then he can't take that.
So listen what you
He can't eat it.
Maybe if you had one or two, I can maybe. You got
I don't know, really, if it was two other kids, he would be willing to purchase food for them. But since it's three other kids, he won't. I don't know. Maybe this is real, but this just seems kind of bogus.
it's 3 extra kids. What the? You all like going to my account, spending money on all those kids. Them not my kids.
Them are your kids' siblings, though. Dumb.
So that's what you gonna go with. That's the one you gonna.
Those are your fucking kids' siblings.
They my. So that means.
Yeah.
I take care of them.
So don't.
where's
No,
the-
I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you bring one something to eat.
I bring them food every other day. What do you mean?
Exactly.
It's more of the
but you don't
same,
never bring
right?
food for the other ones. You know I get my food stamps on the 11th.
There we go. There's another refresh. Hey, you don't know I don't. You know I don't get my food stamps until the 11th, right? This is the second time she said it. She made sure to say that oh, we only have one kid, but the other kids are not his, right? I just feel like this was just maybe it's not. Maybe it's just perfect, right? Perfect for discussion. But I feel like this was kind of
Okay.
those two key things about her keep saying oh, I don't get my food stamps until then, and then one of them is his kid and the other ones are not. I feel like those two pieces of information are two different things that get people talking, right? Because of the kid part, of course, because then people are oh, those are not his kids, he doesn't have to provide for them, and then the other people are oh, well, he better. It's pathetic. He should be able to he should be able to provide for all three. And then the whole food stamps thing. There's a lot of people in America who are very who have stigmas towards people who are on food stamps or whatever you want to call it. I know they have a new system now, but that's that.
But I'm saying.
So I feel like those two things get people talking. If this were fake, those would have been two smart things to include if you want people to talk and have it go
we
viral
share
or
the
whatever.
same kid.
But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Who knows?
So if you want to, if you feel the way about him eating, take him in the room and let him.
I'm not taking my kid
Or
in the
send him down
room.
to the car. He ain't got to eat in front of his brothers and sisters. He can come right out to the car and eat with me.
No. You know what? Fine. Give it
And
here.
then we have the dramatic
Give it
ending
here.
here.
Give it here.
Which honestly, that's not the best solution, right? To have the kid go over and eat by himself, whatever. That's not the best solution, but that is better than him eating in front of all the other kids, right? And then here we go. Let's say this is staged. This is the grand finale. This is the dramatic part
Give it here.
from all the build up to where, if this is real, this is probably the worst part because, like I said, okay. Whether you want to say whether it's right or it's wrong, if this mother wanted to avoid all this yelling and all this back and forth, she doesn't have to tell him. She could. That was a big soda, and if they were, I don't know how old the kids are, but everybody could have gotten a taste, and everybody could have gotten their half or part of the sandwich. Is that fair to him? I know most people would say no, and probably isn't. But I'm just saying. I don't like arguing and all this. Back and forth. But yeah, look, what do I think about this?
You.
Ultimately, if he's not in a relationship with her, no, he's not responsible. He's not obligated to purchase food for all the children. Would it be cool? Yeah, it would be super freaking cool. And that would be really cool, right? If you have the means to be able to do so, and that's the thing, not everybody has it, right? And if I were to judge this guy based off of, let's say, his car, which, by the way, isn't always a good measure because you never know. Sometimes people have savings and they have money because they don't spend it on things. But let's say his car, he obviously doesn't have the most expensive car, which would lead me to believe that he's not the most wealthiest man alive, right? So, you can't even see it, right? So let's say okay, if you're on the line of he needs to provide for all the kids, I just feel like, well, where do you draw the line, right? Because let's say this dude isn't in the best place financially, right? Is he now forever responsible for all the other kids that she may or may not have, down the line? What if she has two more? does he just have to absorb all those costs now because he happens to be the one who brings his kid food? You know what I mean? Whereas I don't know about the other kids. I mean, remember, we know nothing about the situation. What if all the other kids' dads does bring food on different days of the week and they bring some for everybody, right? That's possible. But let's assume that they don't. And let's assume he is the one that comes and brings his kid food. If you're on that side, so like, is there no limit? Should he always have to provide for all the kids? And like, if she decides to have more kids, now he has to take on that responsibility and, provide things or food. Let's just keep it at food for the new ones, right? And then from her perspective, I definitely can understand why she would be upset, because she's not reasonably upset, and I don't think she should take it out on this guy and throw and waste the soda and the food. But I do think that can be frustrating, right? To have one kid have the cool, special, fun McDonald's, and it's just and have the other kids like just watching, basically, right? It's just kind of an uncomfortable and sucky situation. And I hope it's fake, because like, I guess it's so extreme, right? It's like, this kid gets to eat cool, fun McDonald's and all the other kids are starving because she said she doesn't get her food stamps until the 11th, right? So let's assume that the other kids have nothing to eat. Excuse me. And then his kid is able to eat McDonald's. It's like, I feel like that's another piece for like making the argument that it could be fake, because it's just so extreme, right? It's like, she's going to make sure to tell us that one of the kids is his. She's going to make sure to tell us that twice that she's on food stamps, right? Because people will judge and start talking about that. For the stigma. And then it's almost going to be clear that the other kids have nothing to eat, but this kid is going to have food. And even so, I mean, we got the people talking, so if that's what it was for, it worked. No, I don't. He's not. I don't think it would be fair to say that he would have to be responsible for all of the children that are there, or if she decides to have kids, I don't think that he has to be responsible for them. If he wants to, and he wants to be cool, because at the end of the day, it's not the kid's fault, right? Let's say the other kids' parents, the other kids' dads are not like responsible or cares for them. Like, that's not the kid's fault, right? And it would be really cool that if he had the means to do it, like to provide as much as he can for the other kids, right? That would be the ideal situation. But in a situation where, let's say he can't, and let's say he's going out of his way already, and like, let's say it's already... let's say he can already feel the expenses of his one kid. No, he can't be responsible for all the other kids. It sucks. It's poopy. And it's just a bummer. Like, but I feel like he can't be the one to take all the heat. It sucks. It's not ideal. I don't know. What do you think? Am I missing something? I could be missing something. I feel like maybe I am. Maybe I'm overlooking something. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I just feel like everybody's too on one side. That's, I guess, how I feel. I feel like everybody's like, screw that lady. She's if she couldn't, if her other partners aren't providing for her kids, screw her. She's gone off the two. I don't think her reaction was justified again, but I do feel like I can see it from that perspective and how that could suck really bad. Or everybody's like, screw that guy, he's broke and he needs to be able to provide for everybody. And I think I saw somebody on Twitter say like, if I had a man, whatever, I hope to God he can be able to provide McDonald's for, the kids. But, trying to downplay the money, I guess. But it's like, no, like, this is real life. Like, it's tough. A lot of people don't have a lot of money. And, for a lot of people going out, even if it's to quote unquote just McDonald's or whatever, like, that's an expense. And that's kind of like a lot of people, even for me growing up, I remember that's like a luxury. That's like cool. That's pretty, I mean, hey, who am I kidding? Like right now, that's still pretty cool. But like, it's not the everyday, it's not the norm, I'm going a little off topic here. But yeah, I guess my point of view is like, no, the guy shouldn't be crucified for not bringing food for the other kids. But at the same time, I can totally, like, it just sucks. And I can see both perspectives. But the dude, I don't think is in the wrong. And I don't think people should be so harsh on the mother, because that sucks. It's just a weird dynamic, and it sucks so bad. And I know I keep saying that, but it does. Like, it just, I feel for any kids who are in that situation, I guess. And hopefully this is fake, and this just is made just to stir people up and get people talking. But anyway, that's how I feel about that. If I'm totally overlooking something, let me know. If you like the video, don't forget to like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.